Hi, I'm Charmaine. Welcome to the Love of Self podcast, where we delve into the emotional aspects of finding love for self. Today's topic is depleted. Today, I wanted to speak on some of the problems of trying to maintain self-love. Sometimes it's hard to love yourself. Sometimes it feels extremely difficult. There can be a sense of feeling overwhelmed to the point where you have to do your own heavy lifting emotionally. And sometimes I just want someone else to do it. Sometimes I just want to feel love from someone else and not always having the need to be strong for myself. I just want to feel the love outside of me. And when I go through those emotions, I have to find even more strength to pull myself out of it. And at times, it's overwhelming. There are times where we don't want to have to find ways to fill our emotional voids. Sometimes I think it just feels easier if someone else is there to hold me up emotionally, where I don't always have to do it all the time. Sometimes I just feel depleted. I just feel emotionally exhausted. Sometimes I don't want to have to be strong for myself. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's just the real, authentic state of my mentality at the moment. I have to begin to understand myself in ways that I never did before. And I think that's a big part of loving yourself. A big part of loving yourself is understanding yourself and understanding the relationship of your inner emotions and your ego, as well as the relationship with your spirit, the energy that you give off, as well as the depth of who you are inside and what you need inside, and developing a relationship between the two that helps us to internally grow. And these dark spaces that we go through, at the very least, make us aware of the truth within us. As hard as it feels, as lonely as it feels, as heartbreaking as it feels, as ugly as it feels, it is the reality of existing. The depletion of always needing yourself to uplift yourself, to not feeling like you can count on people with your emotions. It's very hard, and those feelings that I have within me forced me to go into depth with trying to understand how it felt to love me, because I couldn't get myself, or I couldn't find that feeling outside of myself. Even though I understand that love isn't always easy, there are some components of love that make love hard. We want it to be easy. We want it to feel easy. We want it to always be in a happy space. But that's not always the reality, whether we're talking about love for ourselves or love for another person. And when we find ourselves disappointed by love, when we find ourselves full of heartbreak, when we find ourselves depleted of the joy and comfort and loveliness of what we have been made to understand love to be, discovering that part of love is very heart-wrenching, heartbreaking. It's very soul-crushing. But within that reality, at the very least, we know that there's something there. If we didn't care at all, there would be no heartbreak, there would be no harm, there would be no injustice of how we feel. But within that reality, there's at least an understanding of the real emotions within us and the understanding of what we want out of love, what we need from love, what we cherish through love. There's an understanding of the strength that love needs to endure in order to thrive. I don't think a lot of people speak about the work that love needs in order to thrive, in order to grow and strengthen. And speaking of it in terms of the emotional endurance that we need to keep love strong, especially for ourselves. We want to have the original initial emotion once we develop it, and then because it's there, it just flourishes on its own. It just maneuvers in strength all by itself just because it existed once. But the fact of the matter is that in reality of love, it takes constant effort, even through times of depletion, even through times of heartache, even through times of despair, even through times of unwrenching pain, even in times of lack of understanding of how to continue on with the love that you once had for yourself, for someone else, for something, even when we can't see a way through. We can't grasp an understanding of how to maneuver our minds out of a relentless loop of despair when we don't know how to not feel depleted. But the only thing that I could possibly imagine is that maybe remembering be the way out. Remembering how it felt when we realized the love within us, and continuing to have the understanding of where that feeling came from. And even though we may feel depleted of the energy that we have to continuously put into ourselves, knowing that somewhere inside me there's love there, standing the deprivation that we've experienced is sometimes why we feel so much need from other people instead of ourselves. And it's very hard. It's very hard at times to pull yourself out of the sadness, but somehow, some way, we have to find a way. What that way is, I assume, is different for everyone. I assume that these emotions of depletion are maybe a phase, maybe temporary, maybe a change of scenery or a change of action or a change of environment may help us come out of our stupor. But the one thing I know is that it's all just a continuous reminder that the love is there just by me merely wanting it. I'd like to thank you for taking these few moments to listen to what I have to say. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. So, I'd like to ask you, have you ever felt completely depleted from love, because of lack of love, because of the strength that you need to carry on with love? Can you think of a way out of your emotional depletion? Can you make the attempt to remember the initial love within yourself to help you pull yourself out of it? Do you have a full and true understanding of what you really want and the discoveries within you that can help you maneuver your mind? I'd love to hear from you. Please comment or email theloveofselfpodcast@gmail.com. Please remember, I'm not a therapist. Also, my new book is out, Love Yourself, a book of poetry and spiritual writings for self-love, is available now on bookbaby.com. Purchase link is in my Instagram bio. I wish you all peace, love, and joy, always. Until next time.